Alright, Twitch, we're firing up the interview with homework. He says he'll just be a minute, so we'll give him a chance to get ready. Meanwhile, sit tight, get comfortable. It's going to be an excellent discussion here with homework, the current server owner of Kuujmania, and one of the main reasons we actually got 5 up in the scene was homework's excellent introduction and discussion with the pink man himself. And here he is, still deafened, so we'll give him a minute to find his bearings. But yeah, won't be long now, so grab a beverage and sit tight. On today's agenda we have the following topics that I'll paste into chat.
Hello?
Oh, hello.
There
Mr.
we go.
Homework himself, the man, the
Yeah,
legend.
that's me. Yeah, that's me. Does my
Good.
mic sound fine?
Sounds great. It's good to hear from you.
Ooh. So
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I just got back from something with my dad.
Uh-huh.
Wrapped it up real quick so I could get here. So what's going on?
Yo, I'm excited to have this conversation. We got a whole hour together. What a
A
dream.
whole hour. Nice. 10 to 11 for me.
It's incredible, man.
Whole hour. What a dream, yeah.
How far we've come from, what was it, a year ago that we had interview with Spoon and you, and then
Spoon, yeah.
yep, and then a separate interview with 5up,
Yeah.
discussing Ranked Among Us, like one of my passions in life.
Oh,
One of the
yes.
few things that will keep me
One
up
of
at
our
night.
passions in life.
One of
Yeah.
our passions, one of our shared passions, One of the
Absolutely.
things we were put on God's green earth to go and pursue and be
Right
passionate
among
about.
us, yes.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
We were born for this, man.
I feel it in my blood. I bleed imposter, I bleed him.
Exactly. Through and through, man.
Mhm.
But it's rare that we get to see our own potential in something quite as beautiful as building a
Oh
community
yeah,
together.
it's a great community too, and it's been going for years. And we've been dead before, but we always come back.
Always bouncing back.
Yep.
All right. Well, to give everyone a bit of context, we're going to be talking about the following 5 topics. Kuujmania, Homework Server. We'll be talking about the state of Ranked Among Us. We'll be talking about the best players of all time. We'll be talking about a content creation competition with cash prizes. And we'll be talking about an Among Us celebrity wish list. And then any bonus topics that may come in.
All in under an hour too, right? So
All in
just
under an hour, so 12
Yeah.
minutes per topic. Here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
No bathroom breaks.
Yeah. No intermission. Yeah.
That's right. Cool. Well, why don't I just go ahead and fire it off by, just jumping straight into Kuujmania server. So tell me, what is the sort of philosophy behind Kuujmania?
Hmm. Well, Kuujmania is very interesting, right? I had an alias called Kuujka for a bit, and in that moment I decided to create this server, which was previously titled Hypercom,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of embodies a lot what it's all about. There's a lot of reds, blacks, and a lot of reds and blacks, kind of like anarchy a little bit. But what Kuujmania is basically about is just being free of all the constraints that society places on everyone, no matter where you are. You have societal constraints in you, as however crazy you think you are, however different you think you are, you have constraints. And Kuujmania is sort of a place where we try to alleviate that as much as we can, because we are still under the umbrella of Discord terms of service, obviously, and
Mm-hmm.
we're not allowing things that are necessarily immoral, but like you could do it, but you would have to face the repercussions. We have leaders that are appointed. The working class are people that I trust to make big decisions. Everyone has a role in that server. That's kind of the general gist, I guess I would say.
That's beautiful, a place where you can enjoy freedom of expression.
Hmm.
That's something else, man.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, so like, what are some of the highlights in your time running server Kuujmania?
Well, Kuujmania, when I think of highlights about stuff like Kuujmania, I think of a previous server called Infinity, which was run by a girl, Sadie's, which was huge. So what I wanted Kuujmania to be is kind of like a revival of this. Big moments we had where, Among Us Pro League is the ranked section of our server. I think it is probably the most competitive Among Us we've had in a long time,
Mm-hmm.
which I was super happy to see. Me and Jasper created that, and it was doing pretty well for a decent amount of time, like not that long, but we had good lobbies. going. So AUPL is a highlight. Minecraft SMP was a highlight. I wasn't really that involved with that, but that was like Sosa and Jay. And then I just love seeing people, just having a good time in the server always. It's a little bit slower trying to get it to rise up. I've been kind of spamming stuff because I'm trying to get everything out as I can. And like Kuujmania, the second part, Mania.
Yes.
I'm sure you know a little bit about it.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Probably
how
do,
comfortable are you discussing that openly?
Oh, I can discuss it. Yeah, I've struggled with bipolar disorder, bipolar one, and part of that is manic episodes, mania. The mania in Kuujmania, number one is just the meaning, like, oh, welcome to, like this mania. That's like a whole thing. But mania as a word, it's like kind of a part of it as well.
Yeah.
It is that whole expression. Your brain is like working hyper fast, going crazy.
Yep.
That whole thing.
Yep.
Just kind of harnessing that energy.
I love this topic because, I've also struggled with hypomania. Not quite grand mal mania, but certainly hypomania at least. And, it's picking up again. And it's very double-edged because I feel incredibly passionate about individual topics. And I can wake up jazzed to go to work or to do Ranked Among Us or whatever it might be, whatever that fanciful flight of passion may be. I just feel like I'm born to do it, And there's no
Absolutely.
lack of motivation. It's just hyper focus and extreme flow
yeah.
and 10 out of 10 fun by just diving in. It's
If you
incredible.
can harness it correctly, it is a lot of fun, and just getting that energy, putting it into something like, for me, that's usually music. I'm a musician above all else. I like putting all my effort I can into music. But Ranked Among Us, that's another passion of mine.
It's a beautiful
I want to
thing.
see it thrive, and if I have this energy, I want to put it towards something that I do care about deeply. Because I think Ranked Among Us is more than just it's more than just elo. As much
Definitely.
elo as I would love to get and like play the game, it's all about the community. And,
yeah, absolutely. It's so cool that we can bond over that topic because it can be very alienating and scary to be struggling with mental health and not have an ally and someone who like understands it from first-hand experience is like a different level of ally.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
you'll know what the highs feel like and you know what the lows feel like, and you know what the
yeah.
judgment feels like, and having to second guess how you're coming across and how
I have plenty of I have plenty of people from, I don't know, I don't really mess with a lot of the jelly peanut people because they kind of like shit on me a lot. Or sorry, can I say that?
yeah, that's fine.
They kind of dumped on me a lot.
Yeah.
Like when I had one of my episodes, and I think it's kind of stupid to make fun of it, but Discord is like a place where you're kind of free to do whatever, so I don't really care.
Right.
But a lot of those like nutters people just kind of like were like, oh, look at this dude, we hate him, he can't stop talking, we hate this guy. Like,
yeah, but like the motor mouth, the like rapid speech, the pressured speech, that's a symptom. But it does
hyperverbal.
It does have an upside if you're trying to rap, and by God, can you rap? Like, holy shit, man.
I've got to be the greatest rapper of all of Among Us. Like, it's not even close, I would say.
100%. Like, you put Ken to shame.
I mean, Ken is amazing at making hilarious parodies.
Yes.
I sometimes wish he would change more of the lyrics, but that's a topic for a different time. But
Right,
I love Ken's
right.
music. I think he's super talented, but I do think I'm the GOAT.
Yes, I think it is uncontested top ace. Ranked rap ace is homework.
Yeah, and then back to a little bit about Kuujmania before we move on to the next
Totally.
topic. I do want to
Please
mention that Kuujmania may just look like exactly what part of it is, like a manic episode. It may just look like that. That's part of the fun, just mass pings, just getting everything going. And it's like, I don't even think there's anyone in the channels right now because like I kind of let it sit for too long. But hopefully if we were to get this thing to move on, we would have sections for Among Us, which would be a huge thing if it was good. Because with AUPL, this, I call it Season FX, there's going to be, we're going to have like 1v1s, we're going to have 2v2s. Like, I'm doing stuff that no one has ever even thought of since like SK. I would say SK is the best developer from
Among Us MMR.
Yes, the best server Among Us MMR.
It will never be topped because it's been put on such a pedestal. Among Us MMR, the greatest experience of all of Ranked Among Us.
The greatest competitive experience.
Yeah.
Polaris is a lot of fun. Nutters
Right.
was interesting. Purple's been the longest withstanding, like the LeBron kind of.
Sure.
Among Us.
But it's not the end of the story. There's another server coming out probably
Oh
August
yeah.
1st. Yeah, so
Hmm.
stay tuned. I think it's going to be themed around education for pub players entering into ranked. So
Interesting.
very focused on the new player experience. So stay tuned there. But
Perfect. Yeah. Another thing about
yeah,
AUPL. Sorry to talk about
yeah,
it over and over
please
again,
go
but
ahead. Yeah,
yeah. So it is open to anyone that the people I've appointed sees like as a fit. I don't care how good you are at the game. The only thing I care about is how hard you're trying. There'll be adaptations.
hmm
Like say we have a player who is very bad, it is possible we would make their vote count for half or something like that. It's a bunch of stuff. We're in the early phases right now, working out which we want. We're gonna eventually hone down on 4 game modes, which would be a form of 1v1, a form of 2v2, just like a 10p like try hard like Polis, and then
hmm
the fourth maybe would be more fluctuational. But yeah, that's pretty much. I've got a huge vision for APL and I want it to work out, but I just gotta keep focusing on what matters. It's gonna be a whole thing. Yeah, I can't wait for the
That's
future of it. It's good.
awesome. Yeah, AUPL still has a lot of potential. Like
Hmm.
there is definitely an upper echelon of ranked ultra sweat, and that's what AUPL should serve,
Hmm.
which just could be incredible. So yeah,
Could
I'm
be. Yeah,
really
hopefully.
excited to see what that can become.
Awesome. Yeah.
So yeah, other questions about Kuj. So I've been speaking with Sol, and we've been talking about a really interesting idea surrounding a careers fair. Because
Mm.
Sol is like a uniquely gifted young individual who has made it
Hmm.
like in a financial sense, and is
That's
also
Excel you're talking about.
ex
Yeah.
Sol. Yep,
Hmm.
he's like server owner of Polaris,
Yep.
and like he and I both have a lot of interesting career advice and sort of suggestions on how
Sure.
to
Sure.
strive and make it big. And I think that could be a really interesting sort of thing to do. And I don't know what the best server for it is. It could be AUC, it could be
Well,
AUL, could be
I think.
Kuujmania, could be Polaris. You know, it could be anywhere. But yeah, just wondering, like, how would you feel about setting up channels
Yeah.
in Kuj for like
Oh
career
yeah.
discussions?
Yeah, I want Kuujmania to not be tied down by anything, and I gave you the working class rule. So to me, if you have the working class rule, as long as you think it's a good idea, you're following your instinct, and you're doing things like in the name of the kind of ideas that I've put forth, I totally trust it. Like, if you have the working class rule, you are working for the server, and you're gonna. Um, I want people to make decisions without going through me sometimes
That's
because
what I
I'm
like to
offline
hear.
for
Yeah.
long periods of time. Yeah, so if you wanted to get that going, absolutely. Like put it, do as much as you want in there. Just make sure it's not like taken away from too much, you know. But I'm sure you have a good insight on that. Yeah, you can always
Yeah.
ask me as well. I don't want people to be afraid to ask me, but I also want,
Fantastic.
yeah.
I guess like reason I ask you is more about like seeing how excited you are.
Oh,
Uh,
that's not honestly. That seems like a fantastic idea. Yeah,
cool. Yeah,
I
I
just
was
want to make sure
thinking.
I'm getting some of the benefits too, though,
Oh,
because I'd be owning the
absolutely.
server. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that like one way that it can help you is by increasing activity in your server by
Oh yeah.
having,
Yeah.
channels that are designed to be one-on-one career discussions as well
Hmm.
as talking about the philosophy of Kuujmania, a little bit of sort of indoctrination as part of the careers fair, and a
Sure.
bit of
Sure.
promotional sort of maybe a YouTube video that talks about Kuujmania is going to be the hosting place for the careers fair. So yeah, I think it could be
Awesome.
fun.
Yeah. The original idea, Hypercom, had 3 kind of big things we wanted to do, which was ranked Among Us,
hmm
freestyle, like
Yeah,
rapping,
like rap battle.
freestyling, just a music section. Yeah,
We should
rap
do some
battles,
more
maybe even
Jackbox
packing.
nights in Kuujmania.
Sure. Yep. And then the third one was going to be debate, which I love just like
Yes, the
the
purity of
ideas
it.
around. Yeah, yeah. And we were going to maybe have
Amazing.
a ranked thing for it. And also with Kuujmania, I put a bunch of pings out. I actually do have a lot of money that I could put into prize pools, and it looks like even that isn't getting people to join calls without me there. So I guess I need to probably sit
It
down and get stuff actually active because there's gonna be money prizes for this stuff. Like I'm not lying.
exactly, man. Like
Like,
I
if
do the
people don't
same
join,
thing. I
yeah,
just like throw around cash because I want to make things happen. So I know what
yeah,
that feels like because that's another like manic tendency.
yeah. We've been spending more money, yeah, but we'll
Exactly.
make it back. We'll recover.
Throw money at the problem, right? Like yeah.
Yeah.
But the good news is like there's always going to be ways to make more money, including
Hmm.
the work for cash channel. So
Oh yeah, which looks like pretty. It looks like not many people are taking advantage of that at all.
well, there's a whole
Yeah.
separate Bricknick's Bandits now, of which
Oh
you
yeah,
remember,
Brick
right?
Bandits. Yeah,
Yeah.
Brick Bandits.
A few people, Maddie already earned $6 by just sending me a bunch of Impwin videos.
Nice. Yeah.
And
I also think I
Dingus,
kind of have the holy grail of that because I have
mhm.
hundreds and hundreds of old VODs and new ones too.
Right, and there's going to be diminishing returns. Like I can only watch so many VODs.
Yeah, right. I can't just give you the whole mega file.
I sat through 2 hours of viewing VODs this morning from Maddie's collection, and they were great videos. But it's not sustainable. I can't sit there for
Yeah.
like 100
Yeah.
hours, watching videos.
Gotta get like the top 5 best plays.
Exactly.
Like
So I need quality over quantity, but I want to get people excited about creating content because for me
yeah.
that's such a beautiful art form, and it gets people excited about the game. It grows the community. It's just win-win all around.
It does, and the problem that I'm sure you're aware of, like Tax, what he was doing,
Yep.
because Tax, SK, Jay, we used to have a lot of discussions around how we could maybe make it mainstream, but then usually we kind of like fizzled out, lost the energy for it, because Tax for a long time was pumping out YouTube videos, trying his hardest, and it just wasn't sticking, unfortunately. But
Yeah,
some people have had good.
there's a little bit of
Times
product
videos.
market fit issue with Ranked Among Us because it
Yeah.
caters to a very niche audience. You have to be like down to be toxic
Yeah.
and super sweaty,
Yeah.
very narrow, sort of nerdy focus. It's a extremely
4,000 people
limited.
electrical on the admin table, and if you go,
Yeah. So you have to be like down to follow along with a hectic, yelling, like chaotic conversation to try to solve a mystery. It is not a relaxing thing to watch. It's not something you like come back after work and be like, oh, let me chill out with some Ranked Among Us for the like ordinary citizen. But for me, it's thrilling.
Fun,
Yeah, it is not a chill thing. But
and it could be depending on the person. Maybe you'd watch like, I feel like if you watch like Momo's stream, for example, he's pretty chill.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
then
yeah.
the meeting comes, and the meeting is always just this crazy like.
Absolutely.
This
Yeah,
crazy
yeah. And sometimes
fucker.
on my stream, like while I'm doing tasks, I'll be singing like karaoke or whatever. That could be fun.
If people ever popped into my stream, I love streaming and just having like no viewers except for like 1 or 2 people.
Right.
Because a lot of servers don't allow streaming without delay, so it's difficult to.
That is frustrating. That's one of the
Do, and
things.
you don't
Shout out
get
to
sniped.
AUC for allowing it to be a lobby decision because I've had
Yeah,
so
I
much
think
more fun
that's-
streaming with no delay here. That's been the best.
I do want to shout out Ox though. Ox was he was pretty OG in MMR. He was there way before me, and he has been literally tirelessly working for the Among Us community for like years. And I just want to. People dump on him a lot. I just want to shout out Ox. I just want to say like, I hear you, man. Like you're doing good stuff, and you always were. But like it's just a little complicated. Yeah.
100%.
Shout out Oxygen.
Ox and I chat quite frequently. He was actually a major reason why I even returned to Ranked Among Us after my 9-month break. He reached out just like encouraging me to come back. And I would say that definitely had more than 80% of the credit for why I came back. Because it's
sure.
nice to know that like some individual cares about you, not just that, you can
Yeah.
come back to play games or whatever, but like someone has a personal connection
We
with
need
you.
a 10th. Like Bricknick, can you join? We need a 10th. Like,
Yeah. That's like a little bit different. If you're just like a fill,
Yeah, and then
But if
someone's
it's
like, "Hey, Bricknick,
like I miss you, that's a very different thing,
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So yeah, I mean, Among Us, State of Among Us, we're sort of bleeding into that topic. What is your current read? I mean, so many people say Ranked Among Us is dying.
Oh, I think it is. It's funny to me. People saying Among Us is dying when we have so many things changing. We have Vex. I would consider Vex very new to the community and like relatively. He is doing very different big things, which can never make the game. It's not going to kill the game if Vex takes away admin stacking. Like
Right.
It's not going to kill the game if we have a new bot that's kind of in early development stages. We just have to wait. I think in a few months we'll be in a good spot, and I think we're in a decent spot now. Even like there's even a lobby right now in Ranked Lobby 1. Like
That's true. It's happening right now.
I remember years ago. I think it was February of 22, maybe it was 21. There was literally no lobbies for like a few weeks. That hasn't happened in like since then. I'm pretty sure. There's always been like at least 1 or 2 lobbies within a week, and like we've gone up and down. I would say Among Us is in a strange place. I would say it's in a transitional. I think that would be the best word to allocate with it. It's in a transitional phase.
It is coming out of
It'll be just fine.
coming out of its awkward teen phase
Yeah.
and starting to get wings.
yeah, true.
Yeah. It's really interesting seeing how much passion people have for the community. Like Vex having spent, 400 hours
Oh,
just
yeah.
developing bots and stuff for this ranked jelly bean game. And
I
Asian
would.
also having done, you know, similarly
Yeah.
just monstrous amount of development work. It's like always a lot more work than you anticipate.
Oh yeah. Well, I also think not to like sound like an annoying person, but I think I think what I'm doing for AUPL, if I were to actually sit down and make it like function perfectly, I think it would be maybe better than Vex is for competitive ranked among us. I think
Hmm.
Vex is doing a lot for just ranked among us.
Yep.
Let's get people in on this. It's going to be fun. It's going to be pretty sweaty. We're still going to try because there's a leaderboard. I think AUPL is going to be, if I actually sit down and fix this and get people to work on it, I think it will be better in the way that it's going to be competitive, fun, and
Hmm.
different. I just want that to be.
It's
I don't
pretty
want to.
hard
Yeah.
to have a sustainable player base. And
Oh
because
yeah.
Jasper was paying a lot of the tax of
Hmm.
manually recording everything, it's quite burdensome. Like
Yeah.
you could always see his like deep groan after having a bunch of lobbies because now he has like an hour of bookwork.
Yeah. Jasper, I helped him with like some of the creation of it. We both kind of had the idea, and it's in my server. But Jasper was doing the large majority of the work for APL, if not like pretty much all of it. So when he disappeared, and like I had like a test lobby. I think I posted an announcement where I was saying like who wants to join the new APL? Like you guys aren't gonna be ready. And then I got like I think only like 8 or 9 reactions initially, and then we had like that kind of lobby. It was like Santo, Seer, like other people were there too. Like, and I think those people know that like there is potential, and like people who haven't seen the first lobby just assume that I'm crazy or something, just doing a bunch of wackadoo stuff, which isn't necessarily fully incorrect. But I spammed a
Right.
bunch of stuff to try to get momentum, and it looks like it kind of fell off again. We're gonna have to maybe get more organized with this to
It's
make
always the
the rest come
trouble,
out.
right? Like there's a lot of behind the scenes work to actually get activity and
Yeah,
stability. It's not
yeah.
easy. But
And
yeah.
I was kind of hoping some of the people I appointed would work behind the scenes. Actually, it's funny. Ruby is the second command
Hmm.
of AUPL, but he barely plays because in my original server, when I first tried to do something like this, it was called Among Us Base Server X, where you join, you get an imposter or a crewmate role. If you get the imposter role, you can't see almost any of the channels, but you can make threads, and you can like you can
Oh
DM each other and
wow,
stuff.
that's
If
funny.
you're crewmate, you can see all the things, but you can't make threads, and you can't do a few perms. And yeah, so I would assign these roles. I just love like thinking way outside the box for this because that's what it needs, you know.
Yep.
People are bored of going into AUL, waiting an hour plus just to sit there, wait a million years to get into a game, like put through a million commands, have it not work. People are sick of it, and I understand why they are, but people will also not be sick of the game because it's kind of an addiction. I
Right.
wouldn't even say kind of. I'd say it's pretty much an addiction for a lot of people. You know, I'm talking about like the sense aspects, like me
Yep.
as well, like just grinding this game and thinking I gotta quit, and then they always come back, and it's like we just wish that it was more fun, but
It's like an
we're gonna get
Alcoholics
there.
Anonymous or a Fight Club or something, man. It's
Fight
just.
Club, yeah, Fight Club's. There's a lot of
Yeah.
Fight Club influence in some of my stuff. You know,
I
Project Mayhem is similar to Formula X.
I believe it.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of interesting films, have you watched Limitless yet?
Limitless?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I haven't watched it yet. You should DM me.
Don't forget, you get money if you watch it.
Oh,
So
that's still up for grabs.
that one's still up for grabs because
Can
that's
you,
I count
I'll
that as
DM.
relaxation, not as work. But because I want to influence you to watch this, and I think you'll have a great time,
Yeah,
I
for
think it's
sure.
worth your time. You can watch it on 2x or whatever.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
It's also funny in Fight Club. I rewatched it on 2 times speed one night. I think only about half of it because I fell asleep. But
Uh huh.
there's this part where they say Marla, this girl has done her homework, which I thought was
Nice.
funny. And then about 5 minutes later, the narrator goes, what does he say? He's like, oh yeah, my job is to instill the formula. And I was like, that's right, bro. That's my job. Because Formula X is my Among Us clan. It's the biggest Among Us clan of the year. Dior was much smaller. I did the numbers. FX was on top the whole time.
Hmm.
We don't like the Dior clan, by the way. We're against them. Mikey
Oh,
is like my number one opposition, but
Nemesis.
that's a whole different story. Yeah, but FX is my clan. NRX was me and Sosa originally, and me and Sosa actually created Among Us clans, and it's funny to see people like taking credit for a lot of the stuff that me and Sosa always do because we're
for
We're always
goats.
pushing the boundaries in the background and getting forgot about.
That's that's good though, man. It's always like nice when you make something that's bigger than yourself. Like when
Yeah.
it just like gets that traction and just explodes. It feels good. Cool. So another like State of Among Us thing. I don't know. Did you see the Pokemon proposal?
I remember seeing something like that. Could you
Yeah.
clarify
So
more?
just the high level idea is incentivizing bringing pub players into ranked and
Mm.
training them to play the game well for cash prizes. So
And then you like trade them around like Pokemon or
you
what?
could trade them. That's absolutely in scope.
Interesting.
But the
I
idea
thought,
is your proteges, the people that you recruited, are your Pokemon, and you're a Pokemon trainer. And now
mm,
your Pokemon fight by going and playing ranked games to get experience and level up, right?
what is
And
allocated as experience?
they earn fantasy points for every game that they play. They get more fantasy points if
Oh,
they win, and if they
so
vote correctly
if
and
you
so on.
play, you get some point. Oh, it's a whole system for it.
Exactly, there's going to be a whole point
That sounds
system
awesome.
and a
Yeah.
bot and stuff. And then, if they throw, they might lose some points, and maybe you want to go coach them and sort of reassure them
Mhm.
and, heal them. So you take them to the poker center and have a chat with them to, stroke their ego a bit. Get the
Yeah.
Pokemon back in the ring.
It's a little bit. It's a little bit complicated for me to keep doing Among Us stuff because I'm banned from AUL currently.
Uh-huh. But
I
this isn't
have
going to be in AUL. This is going
yeah.
to be
So
in Polaris.
kind of a separate thought. Oh, Polaris? Did you say?
Yep.
Okay,
So,
Polaris is
teaser.
maybe. Okay, I'm ready for that. Funny thing about Among Us and Polaris, back in MMR, we tried to merge them together
Yep.
to try to make a huge server. Didn't work out. I think Kiki and SK just kind
Creative
of gave up at
differences.
some point. Yeah, and it
Yeah.
was either that or they just gave up. I think a lot of the reason why Among Us doesn't progress is because it's a lot of work to just
It
sit
is.
here and throw it in there. I think I'm one of the few people who has almost never taken a break. You look at I've literally played since like 2021. 2020 I was playing like pubs and stuff and I played ranked in 2021.
Mhm.
The only breaks I took were like against my own will. Like I've just been
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
I've seen
yeah.
the whole thing grow, like shrink. I've seen it all. And
That's a beautiful thing, man. You've
yeah.
been there. It's like being part of the birth of a universe or something, right?
Yeah, that's exactly the Polis universe. I'm a straight Discordian Polisian.
Yep. Yo, I wonder how many hours you've spent in Polis.
In Polis, I mean,
Like we've
if
seen
I had a number, it's in the
approximate,
thousands for sure.
approximate hours played for you is what, 4,000 or something?
Maybe 4 to 6,000. Yeah, because I do leave the game open. I used to leave
Right.
the game open and never shut my PC, but
Right.
it's at least 4,000. Like it's a lot.
That's a lot of time. How many days is that? Let's do a quick
That's do quick math.
calculator. So 4,000 divided by 24. You've spent half a year, 166 days in Polis.
167,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, and people sleep on me. I do believe myself to be the greatest imposter to ever play the game. I do. Sometimes I forget, and I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'm not that good because the Nutters community, they have Chippy, who's actually the most mid player. He's the other player, probably. Yeah, same with Tom. Tom is below mid. Yeah, I'm the
Burn.
greatest Among Us imposter.
Let's go.
I'm confident. I'm
The
confident.
nice thing about this sort of broadcast is that no one can really defend themselves. You can just
Yeah,
roast
I can
the
just say,
shit out
I
of
can
them.
just say Chippy's mid and Tom is bad. Like, I don't actually think they're that, but they just are.
Right, it's just
You
fun
want to
to
talk about
trash
the
talk.
third thing real
Yeah,
quick?
exactly. Best players of all time.
Best
Also,
players? Yeah,
like,
we were gonna talk about that.
quote unquote best as well, like worst players of all
Yeah.
time. Most mid players.
Yeah, I know who I think some of the worst are. I think One Heda had the worst week in Among Us.
Oh my
He had,
god, I'd
it was pretty
forgotten
bad.
about it. One hitter.
we're both
Dude, there's
actually-
the best tax video of one hitter throw.
One-handed throwing?
Yeah, it is amazing. And another really good one of Wolloblin. Do you remember Wolloblin?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So there's an amazing Wolloblin throw video also by Tax.
Mhm.
This one is just like next level, and
Yeah.
he did all this
Yeah,
funny editing for like, why would you report this body? Because she had cooldown, or they had cooldown up, and all they needed to do was press the kill button, and they reported the body and threw the game.
Oh yeah. There's plenty. I could get into the worst
No.
players, but I'll just talk about the best for now because the worst is kind of me, and I feel kind of
Totally,
bad
totally.
just dumping
Just
on
go with.
people who
Let's
don't
go with
deserve
best.
it. But
Best players.
the best players, in my opinion, the indisputable GOAT of Ranked Among Us is Jay. It is Jay. It's always going to be Jay, probably, unless this game survives for more years.
I remember
but
that was your answer a year ago
yeah,
as well. Yeah.
it's if there was anyone I would put above Jay, it would be Lucid Cujo. But the more I think about it, it's got to be Jay because Jay is just like he's like inspirational just watching him solve the game. Like it's like watching Michael Jordan like play like a peak game when he gets into his flow state because he's literally like he's not, also I think I take into account cheating into the bigger picture. Chippy is a known actual like literal like hacker. Like he
Yeah.
hacked into the game.
Yeah.
I don't think you can be top 5 if you hacked for that long. People say Cheese hacked, but he never hacked when he was trying, and neither really did Chippy. Probably did hack when he was supposedly trying.
Right.
Yeah, I would say
It's
Jay
hard to
number
know.
one.
Yeah. Jay?
Jay's up there.
But do you
Lucid's
think
up there.
Jay's peak is because of his crew? Or is his imp also next level?
Well, in the peak, it's weird with MMR because in MMR the imp win rate was way lower than almost anywhere else, or definitely anywhere else probably. We had great imposters still, like me, Sosa, Hobbit, Titanium. Jeweler was obviously Jeweler's one of the best if he wasn't cheating. I mean, who knows if Jeweler was cheating, but he's like, if he wasn't, he makes the top 5 like for sure. Momo actually is not cheating, so Momo makes the top 5 probably. I'd probably go Jay, Lucid, Momo, maybe like Sen or something, Jeweler. I don't know, but I think the imposters is more interesting to think about. But yeah, I'd probably say
Okay,
those 5.
so there's 2 questions for the imposter tier list.
Sure.
Who is the best imposter, and then who is the like flashiest or like makes the
like the craziest
sexiest
plays and
plays?
stuff?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm gonna give my case for why I'm the best imposter to ever play the game.
Okay, let's hear it.
Number 1 is reach. I have plenty of, or not reach, maybe just longevity. I have plenty of servers where I have like dominated imposter at least for one season. I haven't really, it sucks. I haven't really gotten crazy about the game that many times post MMR, but in MMR season 9, I came out of my come up, came from C tier, and then I was getting X tier placements every single time. Top of X. Homework's imp is crazy and his crew is made like that whole thing. Like they never thought my crew is solid, like probably top 20ish, but my imp is number 1. I had the longest streak in any server for number 1 imp.
Yep.
Because it's a little bit tricky to take it to other servers because in MMR we had a really long season, which was like months. It was preseason 10 and a little bit of season 9. I was still up there.
Right.
But yeah, I think just the way that I approach imposter is very unique, and I just like I'm very good at working with my teammate, which a lot of people aren't.
Yep.
Very like I can make crazy plays, meeting plays. The one person I would say that I might put above myself is the Iron Spoon, though. The Iron Spoon is an incredible imposter. However, he is so clog that I might have to put myself above him.
Yeah, the clog is real. I think you both have that X factor of being extremely unpredictable.
The Formula X factor.
This is where the mania comes in, man. Like, being mentally unwell is actually insanely overpowered when it comes to imposter.
It is. Bring that out of me.
It is a dream synergy. Getting to play imposter and being like off your rocker is just insane. Such a beautiful thing.
The downside, of course, would be just when you're down on yourself and you just think like you're terrible at everything.
Sure. There's that. But like the peaks, man. Like when you can just control the conversation.
Oh yeah.
You use that big energy and you're just like, this is what's gonna happen. We're voting this person. I don't give a fuck. You're like...
Another thing with imposters, some people say like, homework's not that good. I can meta him. I guarantee even most of these people who can meta me, I can still just win because I can take a few votes here and there, but I just win the game, like I just win.
Yeah, because people want to be led, and you can give this impression that you're the leader of the crew when you're actually the imp when you're insane. It's really funny.
Yeah, I've been struggling recently though because I just get voted. Like people love voting me so much. I think me and Rocker are the 2 most votable players in the game.
It is a downside of being a known good imp is that people will fear vote you, especially if it's like a mid or low quality lobby. They'll just be like, let's just emotionally vote this good imp instead of playing.
I think I thrive in
properly.
More competitive lobbies. I remember. Yeah. In MMR, just if you know what your players are going to do, it's a lot easier to win for me at least because in MMR everyone's playing very we have a very particular meta
Yep.
that people abide by, and it still allows for creativity. But if someone's doing some crazy weird stuff, it's probably because they're not that good in
Right.
MMR. If
Yep.
someone's doing some crazy weird stuff in AUL, for example, Hasiani, he's a solid player. I'd put him probably B.
Mhm.
But this dude will do the most insane pathing that I've ever heard of as a crewmate.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a crewmate. You're like, okay, I don't know how I'm supposed to work around that.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
impossible to
There's
work
a
with,
few
man.
players like that, similar to like Mikey will just run under storage, run Death Node, like he doesn't give a shit
Yeah,
because
Mikey's probably the worst player to ever play the game. He's bottom 3, I would say. Only people I might put below him are Dingus and Creamy. No hate to Creamy. I'm not trying to hate on anyone. But
Holy
Mikey
dude.
is actually one of the worst.
That's so
played the game.
savage. He
He's actually.
he has been a multiple time like Jack the Ripper, like
Yeah, I
season
mean, his little
winner.
e-girl just throws for him, though. You know, like that's how.
Oh,
that's how they win.
is that how it? That's how it is. It's just
Yeah,
all
they feed
about.
each other. They play like 90% of their games together and just throw for
But
everyone.
the
knows it,
Mina
too,
thing
which-
is like relatively
I like
recent.
Mina.
That's a relatively
I like
recent
Mina.
thing anyway, right? Like you have to look at the whole history. A year ago,
Oh, yeah.
Mina wasn't on the scene, so
And
it's
back
just
then, it's just like a. I know Mikey had like some highs because he was EU, I was NA, so I didn't play with him that much.
I see.
And I was barely there for his quote unquote prime, but I just know how he plays. A lot of players, Crunch does this too, and I like Crunch and I hate Mikey, but they both do this. Where these players are decent at the game, but then they just throw out 50-50s and they win most of the games because they're leading. And people are like, how did you know? How did you know? It's just like, I could play like that if I wanted to. I can just 50-50 every game and just lose like 10%, but I want to play perfectly. I want to win every game, and if I fail, I want it to be because I got outplayed, not because I just randomly voted the crewman out, which is how Mikey and Crunch play. I just don't think it's like good. I think it's just so lame. Like,
fair enough. Yeah, it makes sense.
no hate to Crunch, and then full hate to Mikey, though, you know. Yeah, other great imposters though is Hobbit, Jewel. I'm trying to think of AUO though, because I'm very biased towards MMR because it's just like my perfect little cute little awesome server that me and most of my buddies came from. But AUL, I think if we're gonna talk about the GOAT of AUL, I think it just has to be either Momo, if you guys can just understand he's not cheating, or Sen.
Yep.
Sen is like, people say that Sen's overrated. Sen has literally stood the test of time.
Yeah,
Probably
I
the
think
most
he's been
consistent player.
consistently good forever. Like
For sure in the last like 6-8 months, he is like, I don't think there's anyone I would put above him. Like,
I think people like have made some accusations of him like taking a huge decline right before he quit. He started just throwing games, but I don't think that that's like a fair way to compare his overall track record.
Exactly, yeah. People do that with a lot of MMR players. Sen would always say, "These MMR dogs, I hate these. How do they do it?" Like, he would call us the MMR dogs, which I thought was funny because like
super funny.
because a lot of the MMR players just it's like sort of a superiority complex that we should probably work on. But
Right.
we show up to AUO and we're like, this is how they play here. Like, this is crazy. Like, I've gotten used to it because MMR died in like late 2021. So
Okay, so I have a question on another MMR
Sure,
player.
sure.
What happened to Pryor?
Pryor, well, he's a Polaris player mostly.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? What happened to him?
Well, he just
Like, where is
started
he?
playing League. It seems to be Icy,
League, yeah.
Pryor. Like a lot of these players are just like off playing League of Legends
So
now.
yeah, League is kind of one of the leading killers of a lot of Among Us players because people are enjoying it more than Among Us, and it's like it's a lot of the community is playing League. But I'm not exactly sure. Is AOL still getting lobbies? Because I cannot see the channels.
These days, no. I think there's some bot issues that need to be ironed out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a
So
little bit confused why we hopped straight into this bot when it wasn't ready. Like, I was a little bit upset that Vex was like saying it's gonna be out this day, and then it was completely broken. But,
that has done a
Yeah.
lot to sort of erode trust, unfortunately.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of sort of overpromise and underdeliver, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate. But it's a lesson to be learned, and I've spoken with
Yeah.
him, and he agrees that there needs to be sort of more predictability.
yeah, because we
Yeah.
literally dropped like we literally dropped the whole Asian bot, like
Yeah.
remade all the channels, and then the bot just doesn't work. And like I think they unbanned a bunch of like cheaters too, and I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure some of them are just cheating again because there's no anti-cheat, like it's so
Right, right.
It's so
And I mean,
difficult to stop cheaters.
There are ways that this could be addressed quicker, such as getting someone like Ninth Cat to go and contribute to the coding. Because like other people that can code should be helping. Like Xsol is a good example of someone who's helping
Yeah,
rather than
yeah,
hurting. There was a beta test today, and apparently a bug that came up was that Xsol and Vex both spelled imposter differently. One with an E, one with
on
an
their
O.
code because they both work. Yeah, they both correct spellings.
Correct. And then they just didn't interface correctly. So
Yeah,
GG's on that one. But yeah, having a
I
development
like.
team would de-risk things significantly. So yeah.
Yeah, I have. I really am proud of what I was doing for my algorithm. So I've been training various AI bots across different websites. You know, GPT, Character
Mhm.
AI,
Mhm.
a bunch of them. I've been training them to like kind of learn how I speak. You know, just like training them on default like homework isms and like what to say. So the way I was going to calculate MR for AUPL, if we can get it going, is I could even like look at it real quick. We had some matches. For example, we had a match history. Homework plus 26, Spooky minus 50, Santo plus 5. What's this? Seer minus 60. Imp win, 4-player hide and seek festive 2v2, 720 score selection addition. And then I gave them match at 7.2 out of 10. So I would input that. That would be kind of the format. I would input that into artificial intelligence. And then, for example, I would be like, okay, allocate this into the program and make sure the AI makes a lot of sense or something like that. Make sure the ELO makes a lot of sense.
Cool.
And then it would give me an output number. And then I also have like a leaderboard that we could set up with Jasper's old one. And yeah, so I was basically just harnessing artificial intelligence into helping make this ELO selection chart. Yeah, it's pretty complicated how it works, but like it's pretty easy how to do it, you know?
That's pretty cool, man. I'm glad that you're like exploring these creative ways of, getting Among Us MMR tracking
I got
working.
the robots on my side.
Pretty cool, man. Yo, I think it's time to pivot to content creation competition.
I was curious, I didn't really know exactly what you meant by that. So.
Yeah, I was having this idea that it would be cool to sort of inspire people to invest in content creation for Among Us. Like an open challenge to anyone in the community over the next 30 days, let's say, or whenever the competition starts, which I haven't actually defined it yet. But imagine that we have a 30-day period and you get to make the best video you can, and there'll be separate channels for short form versus long form. Short form would be like 1 minute or less, and then long form is more than a minute in duration.
Sure.
With, say, a $100 prize for whoever's video gets the most views. And then some sort of like mega prize if you hit it really big.
Would it be only the person with the most gets a prize, or?
Right. Exactly.
Okay, yeah, it's only one. Interesting. That could be really cool. I mean, I've been doing, it might look like I've just been, to some people, it might look like I've just been no-lifing Discord forever, but I'm doing a lot of stuff in real life as well. I'm doing,
cool.
Because my music is going to come above Among Us because it's my
primary passion.
one passion. But yeah, Among Us, I'm still trying to get this stuff going. I think that content creation thing would be really cool because I think I have a lot of reach right now. Maybe I could get the prize. Who knows?
How many like followers or whatever do you have?
Well, here's the thing. I don't hone in on one platform. So if I combine them all together, it would be something. But SoundCloud, I don't have that many. But we have like I think 600 or 700 plays on the Google Snake song.
Cool.
And I was thinking about remixing that and posting it. And then I got like 400 on TikTok, like 600 Instagram.
Well, there you go. I mean, like if you add them up, you're over 1,000 across these platforms. Yeah. So there's quite a bit of reach, and that could be an audience to tap into. Especially if they like have a thing for that type of content. Maybe there's an angle here.
I do need to stop, because I just I've been doing every time I have a good every time I have a really good idea, I just kind of post it on one of those. So I've just been spamming kind of. I need to stop for maybe a few days, then maybe I'd post my work on YouTube video that I tried my very best on, and then maybe in my silence it would make it more appealing to my audience or whatever you want to call it.
Right, like maybe you're gonna go for more quality over quantity instead of spamming them with low quality stuff. Yeah.
Well, no, it's not low quality. It's very high quality stuff, but it's just so much of it that not everyone just
maybe it's overwhelming. So you need to stagger it. Yeah. You just need to stagger it a little bit. Yeah.
Also with my music, it's very experimental, so it's still fun. It's still with the times. Usually, I have a few that are just really normal, but people are gonna see it. It's pretty abrasive, but I've gotten some really good people reaching out. I made like $2,000 the other day from
No
an
way.
art piece. Yeah, an art piece that I didn't even put that much time into. And I
Yeah,
think they must have seen that one and like it really spoke to them. So that's like exactly what I'm looking for.
that's really cool, man. Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to see, the art piece that earned you the money. Do you want to
I
screen
could
share
send
it?
it to you.
Is it a digital piece of art? Like, do you want to put it on
It's
stream?
interesting. They titled it as an art piece, and I was kind of posting it. Oh yeah, I can maybe. I'm gonna be careful what I screen share because I have a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
personal
Feel free to
stuff.
like.
I'll
You
send
can also
you.
just DM me the image and I'll pull it up.
Let's see here. Should be around here somewhere. Okay, I'll DM you one of them because the one that they liked just says my name on it, so I'm gonna be a little bit
Right,
careful.
right,
I'll,
right.
I'll
I
give
mean,
you
I
one that
can,
was like.
I can also blur it, or you can anonymize it, or whatever you want to do.
I'm about to send you one, and then I would not blur this one because I really like how it looks. This one got me like $50, and this is an album art for one of my things, but now they have the rights to it. But
Am I good to show that on stream?
yeah, sure.
Sweet.
And it's all me too. Like I took all these pictures and put them into multimedia things, and uh, I
That's
can't
really
see
cool,
right.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like it's a you see the V in the middle. That's the VUCA V
Uh
or
huh.
VUCA. That's my artist name
And
on
is that a
SoundCloud.
shadow behind it?
So that would be. Let me look at it real quick. That's probably just like some pencil or something. I'm not exactly sure because I cropped a bunch of stuff out on this AI editing thing
Mm-hmm.
app and put it through a bunch of things. In the bottom right, that's a shadow of me holding a guitar over a picture I took that I put a lake effect on it.
Is this whole thing a
Cool.
physical art piece, or is it a digital art piece?
Combination, so it would be digital overall, but with lots of physical components that I took. Everything here I made or took a picture of.
That is very cool. I can see the sort of like album art nature of it.
Yeah.
Very cool, man.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm trying to
So, where did you showcase this?
get into that. So it's just on my Instagram. I got a DM, and you got to be careful with DMs from people who are trying to handle money because almost
Scammers.
every single time it's a scammer. But for me, I've actually had not scammers, which takes a lot of trust building. But yeah,
Yeah,
so they reached out to me on Instagram, figured out they were legit. Now the money's in the bank.
that's incredible.
Oh yeah, it's great.
So they did
Great
that
feeling.
just for the like rights to use it in a commercial setting? Like, did they want to use it for album art or something?
They are so we're working on it currently. We're trying to create. They're going to create an art piece with the art piece that I made.
Hmm.
They gave me. They
I
said
see.
500 for supplies, for art supplies. So for me working on the piece, and then 1,500 for personal, which I
Wow.
thought was really interesting. I don't want to say too much about this
Yeah, yeah,
person
yeah.
because they want
Of
to remain
course.
anonymous. But
Yeah.
that was kind of the approach they took, and I was like, wow, I just get all this money for this art piece, and then I also get to work on something. This is a really good deal.
That's really cool. Do you think career-wise you would want to go into creative arts?
I would want to go into music or film,
Hmm.
um, for sure. So like something in that realm, absolutely.
That's so exciting. Like getting to
Yeah.
build beautiful things that you're passionate about
Hmm.
and then
It's
getting money
amazing.
for it. That's incredible. Yeah.
Best feeling in the world, yeah,
Yeah.
for me at least.
Okay, so we're going to go to our final topic, which is Among Us Celebrity Wishlist.
Oh, I wanted to, yeah, tell me what this one's about. I'm
Yeah,
super
so
curious.
the idea here is just who are some people that you would love to talk to from the Among Us world? Like an example for me, like obviously Five Up was an incredible opportunity getting to speak to him and having
Right,
him
yeah.
come in and play ranked games with us.
Hmm.
Other examples would be like, I don't know, Hafu, Disguised
I
Toast,
told like Saikuno and them too.
Saikuno, yeah, a few of the people from like morning lobbies. Are there
Right,
other
yeah.
people that you think would be fun to reach out to?
I don't know if this is a stretch, but a lot of people compare me very often when I talk really fast and right, so they kind of compare me to XQC.
Oh,
So XQC
yeah.
he was doing Among Us stuff. It'd be cool to meet him because I just think I don't watch him that much, but people compare me to him, so I think he's really cool from what I've seen.
Yeah.
So XQC would be one.
Wasn't he kind of controversial as well?
Probably. I mean, he's a huge Twitch streamer, so there's got to be controversy around him. But
Yeah, I think I remember some bad blood that people had with him. Let's see.
yeah,
XQC controversy.
yeah. Another one would just be I would love to speak to just the original Innersloth developers because I want to know like
Oh,
that's what they're at because it's kind of confusing just having the game break every single update and just like be broken for months. When I think we're like, I don't think they understand that like Discord among us is like the bulk of like the people that truly care about the game, because text chat I think is what they see the most. Like there's a ton of text chat players still, but I think the people who actually care about the game are in voice on Discord.
Yo, I just found some juicy update
Oh, for
from
XQC.
June for XQC. The Canadian streamer may soon end up serving jail time over a recently filed
Wow.
lawsuit by her ex-girlfriend, Samantha, aka Adept.
Oh, I wonder what that's
XQC
about.
could potentially end up behind bars.
Wow. I don't know if it's
Damn.
gonna be free X or like lock him up, but I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, so he apparently came under fire for an alleged homophobic remark to a rival player in
Uh,
2018. That was one of his controversies. But this recent jail time thing is a totally new thing. So,
Interesting.
yeah, when you say you might get compared to him, I really hope it's not for this reason.
Just in my like speech patterns, when I gotta go like really fast, or like I don't know, when I like rapid
Yeah,
fire
yeah,
speech,
yeah,
people think
yeah.
I don't see it at all, to be honest, but like people have told it to me, so I guess
Right,
yeah.
interesting. So,
I also
yeah.
kind of want to. What else? Who are some of the ones you would want to meet? Because I need some
Well, yeah,
examples.
I mentioned a few of the Morning Lobby people. I actually got to see them on stage at TwitchCon. There was
TwitchCon,
a
yeah.
Morning Lobby reunion. And
Hmm.
one of the people that I'm so glad I also got to meet, who also occasionally played in morning lobbies, was Koji. I checked out his stream a couple times, and yeah, like he's a really chill guy. And then I caught him outside TwitchCon, just by the
Nice.
side of the building, and he was just like taking a break because it's so overwhelming, just being accosted by fans and whatever. And yeah, he's really chill to talk to, just like
Yeah. Did you hear the one that I said, or were you looking up stuff and didn't hear it?
which one did you say?
The the Inner Sloth developers, like the OG ones.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Inner Sloth Dev
Yeah.
Team.
Because
Cool.
like yeah, like what I was saying is basically like almost every single update just breaks the game, and then they just keep it broken, and then they're like, we're working very fast to do this, and I'm like, really, like
Yeah, trolls,
because
man.
like people on like the text chat players don't have a really way to communicate to each other,
Uh-huh,
and more often than not, if you're just playing text chat, you're not gonna really worry about reporting bugs.
for
But
sure.
The Discord section of the Among Us spectrum is like we're the people who deal with it every day, and we want to play every day, and we're like, this is broken, we have to go on a different server, we have to do
Yep,
this and this.
yep, yep.
And I feel like there's almost no communication between the voice chat people, which is the most passionate aspect of the community,
Hmm.
and the developer team, which is really unfortunate.
Well, apparently Vex has actually steady contact with Inner Sloth development team. It hasn't
Interesting.
been 100% smooth. Like they've still released game-breaking updates, and
Yeah,
it's ruined
constantly.
auto mute us, and it's ruined like crew link and all sorts of
Like
things.
the kill glitch, all
Yeah,
that
kill
stuff.
glitch is a whole nother ballgame. That ruined the game
Yeah,
for literally everyone. That's
yeah,
not even a VC only problem. That's a game break for
yeah,
everyone. And it
yeah.
lasted a long time too. Like they should have just rolled that shit back immediately. That was
Exactly, yeah.
super game breaking.
Then you look
Um,
at like I think it's interesting to look at like Fortnite, for example, Epic Games.
yeah.
Fortnite has been thriving for many years now, and it's really big right now, and people are making so much money from the game too, and it's
Yep.
just so unfortunate to see Among Us not
Not living
understand
up to
its
its
ranked
potential.
community.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
because we could have like I fully believe if they would have added ranked, like maybe like late 2022, I think I would actually be like I would have a lot of earnings. I think like Sen would have a lot of earnings. I think
Hmm.
like Flippa, like maybe if Sterling was actually playing clean, I think a lot of people would actually have a bunch of money from the game if they were actually able to, make a ranked section, have a money prize pool or something. Because
True.
like,
Imagine if it was an
yeah,
esport. Imagine if you could go
yeah,
on
imagine
stage to
Among Us
play.
World Cup, like that would be
It'd
crazy.
be
That would be
insane.
insane.
But I mean, because it's such a like you have to bootstrap it, we
Hmm.
could do it, man. Like
Oh
we
yeah,
could make a meetup, play Among
or
Us
like
on stage,
a LAN
just
tournament.
yeah, just bootstrap this thing, man. It
If
would
I were
be
to be washed,
niche.
like yeah, if I were to be washed beyond like imaginability by then, I would be interested in maybe commentating. But if I was good, I would
Right?
definitely want to see how far I could get.
Dude, if
Um,
people tune in to watch Marble Olympics there's a way to make this
Oh
happen.
yeah, and especially considering the phenomenon that this game was like
Right.
mid-COVID, it
It
was
blew
huge. It was
up.
ginormous. Like
And as long as we're
number.
talking about things to get hyped about, there is an Among Us series coming out. Don't forget, an actual series. If you're
What
not
does that
aware, I'll
mean?
look it up.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, well then this is news to you.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Among Us animated series in the works. June 27, 2023. So look in
Oh.
the Q&A chat. An Among Us animated series is in the works at CBS Studios. Variety has learned exclusively. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's from Infinity Train creator Owen Dennis. So yeah,
Yeah. That could grow some
it'll grow
uh
some interest for sure.
yeah, some interest, some conversation. Hopefully that does.
Yep,
I think if there is another tournament, I would probably want to be involved in how the scoring works because I think I have
yes,
a very important perspective
let's do
on
it.
the game. So
We need
yeah,
a tournament.
I think a tournament with a nice sizable reward would 100% get people to play because of the money. I think,
I
but it
think
sucks because
a good time
yeah,
for
go
the
ahead.
tournament is probably September.
September. Yeah, that seems like a solid
Yeah.
estimate. Yeah, probably maybe a few
Enough
months
time
into
to
it.
stabilize the bot
Yeah,
and, get a few of these servers underway, get a bit of the hype going again.
sure. Yeah, I don't think we're dead enough to where we need a tournament now, but
Right.
maybe in a few months we would need to see. Yeah, I
Yep,
agree.
yep. Light a fire under run again.
Hmm.
Because that got a lot of buzz. There were like hundreds of people excited about the tournament. And you can
Hmm.
drum up a bunch of prize money. That's when people start feeling generous as well. Like all the donations come in. And it's like, last time we had a $1,000 tournament. That was pretty cool. I think we can do that again.
Yeah, I had such an unfortunate time in the tournaments though. Like I don't know if you remember, I got in the lobby with like complete randoms from my perspective. Like they probably just saw the announcement in purple,
It
didn't
is a
ask me
bit
to lie about it. It was
RNG.
a whole thing. Yeah,
It
I
is
think
a bit
that's why I wanted
RNG, and
to.
that's okay. I mean,
Yeah,
that's like the nature of it. It's
what are you
kind
gonna
of
do?
like
And it's
chaos.
not fully RNG because like Saitama,
Yeah, yeah.
uh, Saitama is one of the best ever as well because he can literally just climb that leaderboard.
Yep.
Um, he always is good at getting points. Yeah, so
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
Saitama's crazy. So it's not fully RNG because like a good player wins
Exactly. I
usually.
mean, if you turned on hacks, you would win the tournament. Let's be
Yeah,
clear.
exactly. Yeah. I mean, maybe if you don't get imposter in your first lobby though, then I mean, oh, I guess you could make yourself imposter if you're hacking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can pick imp,
True.
and you can, know who the imps are in 10. You're gonna win. But short of that, it is a little bit RNG, and that's okay. I think a bit of RNG adds to the excitement because it's unpredictable who will win and what the outcome will be.
Yeah, I loved seeing I think Jip's underrated,
Yep,
and I loved seeing her get top 10 in the tournament and just people
yep.
be like,
That's
"Oh, it's
fun.
Jip.
It
They get
gives
top
people,
10."
an underdog can have a chance. Like anyone has a
Yeah,
shot.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like they're at the top 'cause it's a tournament. Like it's important.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, we got like what, a minute and a half? What do you think?
Yeah, we're starting to get into the end game here. I think it's time to read some love comments from the stream.
Sure.
Tax tells you you are a parasocial experiment. What's your reaction?
So what is that?
Parasocial. So this is like similar to parasite. In terms of it would be a
Oh.
negative.
What did he call me? A parasocial what?
Parasocial experiment. So it's like
Experiment.
worse than a social
Yeah.
experiment.
I would
Parasocial.
I would actually probably agree with that. It all is. I'm experimenting with a lot of things. Yeah,
Mhm.
I would agree. And it's probably. I don't. Let me look up parasocial so I can understand the meaning. You can read another.
Okay, and then he does say, real talk, homework, one of the only people who actually wants the game to do good, he a real one.
Swear, yeah, I remember. Yeah, me
Yeah.
and Tax were trying back then, so he knows that. That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out Tax. Shout out that whole section of the world.
Flipper also comments saying, crying face emoji, it's a party game.
Yeah, so Flippa would be the opposite of what Tax just said. I always like it gets on my nerves sometimes. People are like, it's just a bean game. It's like, bro, shut up. Like we play this game all day, every day.
Exactly.
Like, shut up,
Obviously,
bro.
it's more. It doesn't even matter that the graphics aren't good. That doesn't matter in
Yeah.
the slightest. It's all about the people, the community, the
Like
memories, man.
Flippa's acting like he doesn't have 2,000 hours in the game.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The amount of time invested is evidence of itself, in and of itself.
Yep.
Okay, Tax says, I honestly think that things could have been so different. And we had the idea, but SK lost his coding files.
Oh, SK was. I think SK was like he was the glue for like actual competitive Ranked Among Us, and he was so innovative
So,
in his
question,
development.
who has last had contact with SK?
Well, he sometimes types in. I'm still in the server. Let's see the last time he typed. He typed in May. He said A, like AYE.
We should try to like get him on a call, just like we had Bill. Bill was like, add me on Snapchat. I was like, cool, man.
Let me see SK. Let's see here. What is this? Why can't I look it up? I'm trying to see from SK in a channel because he was just saying like, I don't really like Ranked Among Us anymore because people are very toxic and rude. Like, I don't know, he has like some accent.
I mean, I completely understand that. It's the same reason
he...
why I'm abstaining from actually playing ranked games right now.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that makes sense. I think SK would be down to maybe give us some sort of idea or something, but he's typing like what, like once every 3 months or something, if even that. And this, yeah, he didn't type for so long.
Even just having him come back.
Said, my prince. Yeah, go ahead.
Even just having him come back for the celebrity power as a guest speaker for like the intro to the tournament or something, that could be hype.
Yeah, he is the god of all developers for me. Like, he literally did all this stuff for himself, and the rating bot is the smartest thing ever. I think it's way better than.
Imagine like a fireside chat with SK. Like Aizen, like Vex, you know, like a few people who have given
Vex, like maybe Jack from Polaris or something.
A whole bunch of development time. That would be cracked.
That would be really cool. Yeah, that would be really cool.
Yep.
If we got other heads together, and maybe they would get passionate again or something.
Exactly. And even if not, like even just hearing about the challenges they faced.
Yeah, sure.
And the memories they formed, and like what the highlights and lowlights were, I think it'd be fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But who knows? Just someone needs to reach out to them. That's another celebrity wish list idea.
Yeah, I bet. You know, I don't think I would be that successful in reaching out to SK because we've had like ups and downs in the past. But maybe, I don't know, if we could get SK back. Like,
here's the deal: cool. If you can get me an interview with SK, it's an open challenge to anyone. $25.
Okay,
you could get me.
I'll get to work. Then.
A half an hour interview with SK. $25.
If anyone's seeing this and thinking that Bricknick's actually trolling, he's only.
I am not trolling. This $25 to the first person who gets me an interview with SK for 30 minutes.
Yeah, but just let me do that so I can get it.
It's a race, man. I don't care who does it. I just want it done and quick.
Awesome, man. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Exactly. Besides, I don't want you distracted from your primary mission of creating art, right? You're supposed to be making that highlight reel.
I'm supposed to. You're right. That is true.
And in your downtime, you can be watching Limitless.
You're right. I can even throw it on.
You could be making money while relaxing.
You're right.
You do not need to be harassing SK.
Yeah, harassing SK is a good way to put it.
Good times. I think this is probably the conclusion of the interview. Do you have any closing thoughts?
Just want to shout out all my things real quick. Shout out NRX, you know, shout out Sosa, shout out Jay, shout out that whole Red community, shout out Ranked Among Us, shout out Aizen, shout out SK, shout out MMR, shout out Formula X. You know, all my real ones are with the formula. We hate, you know, Dior's on top, Dior's on the bottom. You know, we step on him real quick. You know how X does it. X gonna give it to you. Formula, the formula is gonna be in there. We got the formula, just like Mr. Krabby Krabs. We got all this money. We're coming out on top. FX, NRX, neo-reactionary movement till we die. That's it.
Yo, your shoutouts and closing thoughts in the form of rap was next level.
Yeah, I don't even know if that was rap, but yeah, you know.
Well, there's Mikey, a bit of freestyle there.
Spit on his shoes, yeah. If you see Mikey spit on his shoes, make them all dirty. Real talk.
Love it.
That's all I got to say.
Alright, we're gonna go ahead and raid Stell. Stell is a developer as well.
Oh.
And a friend of 5ups. Yeah, the creator of the creator of Stellar Rolls. I mean, Stell comes from a whole separate level of the community where it's all about the vibes. Still interested in competitiveness, but never
Yeah.
at the expense
Remember
of the vibes.
the core point of contention was that they thought Vanilla Among Us was quote unquote solved, and then we
Yeah.
just thought that was hilarious
Stella
because it
was on the
obviously
call with 5 Up as well, and there
I
was
remember that.
a bit of an ego battle in terms of determining who was right about the
Yeah.
solved
Yeah.
nature, which I think is a little bit short-sighted. I think
Hmm.
that their vision was that like something needs to change about the game to make it exciting
Yeah.
again, and they might be
Yeah.
onto
Totally.
something from
Totally.
a viewership angle, and like there are people who are really into the modded scene, and I think that's
Modded
great.
is totally untapped into in terms of Among Us. Yeah.
There's a lot of potential there, and that does have like a medium-sized following. I mean, the big following is casual,
Yep.
vanilla, with like ejects confirmed and all this sort of garbage.
Yeah, like 3 times speed. Like,
Right,
so
right.
crazy.
And then the medium-sized audience is like modded, which is where all the big streamers went. And then the really small but dedicated and passionate audience is for sweaty, vanilla,
Yeah.
toxic Among
Bolus
Us.
10p, like we're doing this for the win. Yeah. That's
Over and
insane.
over again for 4,000 hours.
Let's just bro, start the game, bro. Start the game.
Yeah.
SP's
Go
in
next,
the
go
chat, we're running it.
next. Alright, I'm gonna rate still. This has been
For
really
sure, for
fun.
sure.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much for your
thank you,
time,
Homework.
homework.
Yeah, for sure, for
Love
sure.
this chat.
Yeah,
Had a
great
lot
chat,
of fun.
Peace out, peace out.
Until
Shout
next
out
time,
FX,
man. Yep.
yeah. FX on top.